Ladies and gentlemen, thems and zems alike, I am Del. Welcome back to another episode of Deck Tech, a show where I just kind of look through my deck, kind of show off what cards I have in, and kind of ramble on about it for a bit. Kind of talk about what my deck does, and I don't know, just ramble. I like to ramble. I like to talk about my cards. Today is going to be another mono black deck, unfortunately, but it's one I'm going to keep. Some of these ones, like, I don't know which one's coming up before this one or after this one. But some of them are ones that I build, I play, and then I kind of go, and get rid of it. But this one is one I enjoy for the most part. It is the Raven Man. Raven Man is 1 in the black for a 2/1 human wizard. Beginning of each M step, if a player discarded a card this turn, create a 1/1 blackbird creature token with flying, and this creature can't block. 3 in a black, each opponent discards a card. Activate only as a sorcery. You can kind of see me in the reflection. It's whenever a player discards a card. So what I ended up doing was putting a lot of self-mill, self-discard, make some birds, try to make one turn, and then eventually swing out. This is one where I kind of have to focus on combat because there's no way I can block with them. So they're swinging out every turn. There are some cards I'm thinking about putting in here, like Dictate of Erebos and Grave Pact, just to kind of like, well, my birds are dying, so your guys are going to have to die too. Kind of stuff like that. But so far, it starts out like discarding my own stuff. As you'll see, some of the cycling cards I put in here. And it moves into, everyone has to discard, and everyone's going to discard here. Some really dirty stuff. And I always kind of like say, like, it starts out with me discarding, and then everyone's going to have to share the load. So it's fun. I don't think I've ever won with it, but I've caused a lot of grief. And sometimes that's fun. Being the problem, sometimes fun enough for me, whether or not I win. I put creatures first. Got my dumb little, I think it's back. Oh, this used to be a Tiny Bones deck. And then switched out to Raven Man. Only because Tiny Bones was getting harder and harder to actually play around. I love Tiny Bones. I want to say Tiny Bones is still in the deck. I can't honestly remember, but put this on top because Turgid, God of Fright, is still in the deck. Opponent sacrifices a permanent or discards a permanent. And you put that card from the graveyard on the battlefield under my control. And of course it turns into a lantern, which, does anyone use this side? I don't think so. Toss it off to the side. Go through the rest of the creatures. Put that up front so you get the little placeholder token out of the way. One thing I've noticed playing my decks is a lot of people get upset when you play those flip cards and sleeves, even though you can't see through them. Like somehow I won by playing those cards sooner. I don't know. I make it so people can't bitch about certain things. Like same when I play silver bordered or playtest cards where it's, hey everybody, I'm doing this at the beginning, and then I'm getting off topic. People like to complain when I win, but I don't win too often because I don't play to win. Anyway, Street Wraith has a cycling cost, or cycling ability. That's what I like to do. We got Bone Miser. He's ready. Discard a creature. 2/2 zombie comes in. A land, and get 2 black. And discard a non-creature card, draw a card. Now this only affects me, so sometimes it's cool getting to do a couple things off of that ability. Necrogoyf is probably one of the only Goyfs I really like. Like Tarmogoyf's okay, but I don't know, something about Necrogoyf really that does it home for me. Creature cards in all graveyards power. Beginning of each player's upkeep, they discard a card and has a madness cost too. Cunning Lethomancer. Beginning of your upkeep, each player discards a card. So that's a free one for me on my turn at least. I don't have to worry about doing anything my turn. We got one of my all-time favorite cards of all time, Chainer, Dimension Master. Of course, 3 black, 3 life. Take creature from a graveyard. It's black and a nightmare addition to its creature types. Gets pumped up by Chainer's static ability, but when he leaves, all nightmares are removed from the game. I like being able to resurrect some stuff. Everyone's discarding, including me. Why not pop a thing out or two, you know? Horror of the Broken Lands. You'll see a lot of cycling abilities. Pretty much that's why he's in there. High mana cost. I don't think I've ever actually cast him. Moaning Wall. I should call her. Moaning Wall, cycling 2. We got Hollow One, and as a little reminder, because it's in Russian, very sweet Russian foil, has the ability for every card I discard a cycle, costs 2 less mana, has cycling ability itself. It's a nice little 4/4 beefy dude, if I need it, but usually it says I'm just cycling. Undead Gladiator is a card I've been playing for a very long time. I like the ability to cycle, but also 1 to black, I can discard a card from my hand to put them back into my hand. Be able to cycle again later if I want. But I have to do my upkeep, which kind of sucks. But it's a nice card to Teck. I play it in a few decks. Not sure if we talked about it yet, but I like that card. One of my favorites. Locust Miser, reducing everyone's hand size by 2. I also have, let's get out of the way, Nat Miser, reduces by 1. Making people have to discard on their upkeep, or what's it called, their cleanup step. They have to discard the hand size. Rankle, one of it. Keep thinking about cutting, but just keeps making in there. Discarding. Some other abilities where I never really do much. But having a 3/3 flyer for 4 and haste is not too bad. That's usually survives. Twisted Abomination, pretty neat. Swamp cycling ability. Foil's real pretty art. Again, I don't think I've ever actually cast a creature, except for the cycling. Viscera Dragger, unearth ability, cycling, pretty good. Turok, one I played wrong in another deck, where I thought Kicker. I've been playing Kicker wrong for like 20 years, where it's in addition to its casting cost, not that it's entered the battlefield. Like you can't just do the Kicker when it enters. But as a Kicker, does discard ability. Another card to keep trying to cut, but some of that art just really hits it for me. Yixlid Jailer, just kind of shutting off at people's graveyards in case they have any funny tricks for, me trying to mill them out or anything. If I'm not 100% sure, you can comment below if I'm right or wrong, but I'm pretty sure it shuts off Eldrazi. It's like an Eldrazi enters another graveyard, it turns off its shuffle ability. That's why it's in there mostly. Besides, just I don't want to help people out by filling up their graveyards, but I don't think I've ever came across that. So let me know if you guys know if that works or not. Wasteland Scorpion, I like the art. Has a cycling. Why not? Oh, there he is. Tiny Bones, he's in there. Couldn't cut him. At least I didn't think I cut him. I got this during the pandemic. It's a really special card for me. It's a miscut. Got it from a good friend. This was like a really expensive card at the time. He gave it to me for a good deal. Trade mostly, but the fact it's miscut, in fact it has sentimental value. I was really going to be like, I haven't played this deck in a while, and I was going to be really sad if this wasn't still in it. Because then I don't know where I would have put it. And my cat is doing something. Sir Conrad the Grim. You know why he's in here. Cheeky little bastard, but I got the alt art, I think from a Secret Lair, and it fits in a better deck. I have it in a better deck than this. Archfiend of Ifnir, again, cycling. Has a good ability that kind of goes with other stuff's cycling effects. What's my cat doing? But, like I said, most of these things are in here just for the cycle. Like this guy, Disciple of Malice. Stop it. Disciple of Malice has cycle ability. What else can you do? Withered Wretch. This was one of those arts back in the day. I don't know. Always made me a little uncomfortable. It's kind of gross, kind of like a weird image. Portrays big chubby guy on the ground. Weird thing. Yeah. But has removal in case I need to take stuff out of the graveyard. Hildebrand art always knocks out of the park. Move on to instants and then sorceries. I got the sneeze. But Scarab Feast, cycling ability, removal for graveyard. A little bit of both for the expunge. Again, cycling ability, but destruction. One flavor. Really sweet art there. I'll make Christopher Muller. I keep missing cards from artists when I get them signed. And I'm like, well, I see them often enough where I'm never going to be short of cards because they do some amazing art, but I keep missing stuff. Rapid Decay has a cycling ability. Again, removing stuff from graveyard also works. I'm like on the verge of a sneeze right now. I apologize, guys. All this cycling's making me itchy. I did some yard work, so I got some good old pollen in my lungs. Cycling ability, suffocating fumes, creatures, whatever, right? Fade from memory. Again, really neat art. Artist I don't really recognize the name for much. Has removal from graveyard. Fits perfectly, right? It's being a sweet art that I've gotten signed. Swat. Destruction. Cycling. There you go. Easy prey. One of those arts that always just kind of makes me laugh. I like the art. Destruction. Cycling. Okay. And last for the instance. Without weakness. Gives one of my stuff. One of my creatures indestructible. And, of course, cycling. Now, this is one I had to write down. I keep playing foreign cards, but I thought this was an enchantment at first. I kind of forgot what this was. This is Unburden. Target player discards 2 cards and a cycling ability. Like I said, I thought it was an enchantment for the longest time. I never played it as an enchantment. It's that cycling ability, guys. I keep playing that. I think I have one more foreign card in this pile. Maybe I'll land this foreign. Memory leak. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from the player's hand and exile it. I really need to put this realized I don't have Thought Season here. I really need to fix that. Here's the other foreign card. It's Italian. Ickerslick. Target creature gets a -3/-3 on the turn. Hey, has a cycling ability and a madness cost. Madness cost costs more than its normal cost. I don't know. Maybe something makes you cast it and force your hand or something. I don't know. Cool art. I got an Italian version because it's neat and it has cycling. Wander in Death. Get removed from graveyard. Cycling. Moving on. Unearth. Another one of my favorite cards. This new art is really spicy. I like it. Got a neat foil here. Bringing stuff from mana value 3 from the graveyard to the battlefield. Cycling. What else do you need to know? On to enchantments. We got Feast of Sanity. Whenever I discard a card, Feast of Sanity is 1 damage to any target and gain a life. Wonder why that's in the deck. Painful Quandary. This is a late game, chef's kiss. Mwah, perfect card. It's just wrecks people's shit later game. If you discard card, lose life. Either way, I'm happy because I'm making birds. Quest for the Milestone. Beginning of each opponent's upkeep, the player has no cards in hand, and the Milestone has 2 or more quest counters on it. They may have that player lose 5 life. When they discard a card, they put a quest counter on it. The kind of guy that once I hit 3, this is 2 or more. Oh, I'm thinking the other one. I keep count. I just keep putting more and more counters because I don't care. It's neat. It itches that jelly in my brain that it just makes me feel good. Shrieking Affliction. Beginning of each opponent's upkeep, player has 1 or few cards in hand. They lose 3 life. Sicken. Enchant creature. Hey, cycling. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to cycle this puppy. Larceny. Creature control deals damage to a player. Player discards a card from his or her hand. I took out a few of... They go on the side. The Abyssal Spectre. There's a couple other creatures that have this ability where I'm just kind of like, you know what? I found this card and I was like, this replaces like 3 other cards, can make room for stuff. I should put them back in that because I like those other cards, but this just does the job for me. Faith of the Devoted. When you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 2 life and gain 2 life. Hey, pretty good, right? Gibbering Descent. I always thought he looked like that. I forget his name, Thorolf or whatever from the one Magic show on YouTube. I think it's kind of mean to say, but like I don't know. It's really pretty art for being how gross it is. He's got like a mouthful of worms or something. Anyway, Gibbering Descent, enchantment. Beginning of each player's upkeep, players lose 1 life and discards a card. Skip your unkeep step if you have no cards in hand. Madness, 2 and 2 black. Now, I don't think I've ever actually cast it, but that's one of the cards. This is one of those cards that I'm like, do I want to skip my upkeep if I don't have any cards in hand? Or does it apply to everybody? You know what I mean? No, sometimes it's like it's so simple. It's like right in front of me, and my brain just doesn't understand it. Pretty sure it just refers to me. I could be wrong. Bottomless pit. During each player's upkeep, the player discards a card at random. Pretty good. Grim. When an opponent discards a card, deals 2 damage to them. Right? Necrogen Mists. I think they reprinted this recently. There's a different art. Something about this art just, I don't know. Looks really cool. It's like disturbing and pretty at the same time, you know. Got all those sexy cat people dying in the mists. I don't know. But at the beginning of each player's upkeep, the player discards a card from his or her hand. Also, like, speaking of like pronouns, I don't want to get political or nothing, but like, they should have been using their all along. There's a lot less text in that from their hand. Does it really need to say his or her? It always bothered me back before, you know, everyone had a problem with pronouns. Just for the record, I don't. I just have a problem with, like, conciseness. Just say there. Done. This one, I had to buy. It's a real cool art. I didn't really care for the rest of this set. Everyone complained about the lowercase, uppercase, kind of jokey layer. This one, all caps just bothers me too. You know? I don't like it. But when a player casts a spell, they discard a card. Liliana's Caress. When an opponent discards a card, they lose 2 life. Words of Waste. Pay 1. Next time I would draw a card. Each opponent discards a card from their hand instead. It's pretty good. Right? And Waste Not. The enchantment version of that critter we talked about earlier. Where I discard a card, zombie, get a zombie token. Oh, when an opponent discards a card, get a zombie token. When they discard a land card, get 2 black mana. And when they discard a non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. Brand new, right? On to artifacts. Geth's Grimoire. When an opponent discards a card from his or her hand, I may draw a card. Now, mana permitting, this is a pretty neat combination I got to do once. So pay 1, next time I'm going to draw a card. This turn, each opponent discards a card from their hand. Get into this card, get to draw a card. This goes off, they discard a card, get to draw a card. Pay another 1, keep doing it. It's fun. There's a little bit of a loop there, but yeah. Alter the Brood, not really discarding, but you have to put it in there. Birds are going to help either way, right? Found this really, really cool art. Oh man, I got so excited. Look what happened. Found this really cool art for Coat of Arms. Have you guys ever seen this? I found this in like my bulk. I really messed up the camera now, huh? Where it's like, it's just so simple. Does it really convey Coat of Arms? Not really. Just one dude out there, right? One little dudette. But I really like this art. D. Alexander Gregory. But this is one of those cards I had for a long time. Never really noticed what it was. But it's a fun little deck to put in because it makes my birds bigger. That being said, it also helps everybody else out. So I end up wanting to cut it because it doesn't help me as much as I'd like it to. Fluctuator. Second abilities cost 2 less to activate. You'll never guess why that's in there. Fodder Tosser. Little burn for a little discard. Pretty neat. Pretty helpful. Abandoned Sarcophagus. You may cast non-land cards with cycling from your graveyard. Pretty helpful, but never really get too much value out of it. But if a card cycle put in the grave from anywhere and it wasn't cycled, exiles it. That's the hard part. But I can't quite cut it. This one, naming birds. You'll never guess why. I'm hoping to make a bunch of birds, make them all bigger. In this card, I really want to put Asmalord or Karasakustakaar, however you say it. But, you know, it doesn't really work, even though it's like hybrid, technically. But I got this really nice etch foil for the deck, and it works. But, I don't know. Do I do much with food tokens? No. The discard outlet's pretty helpful, though. On to Planeswalkers. We got Liliana, Waker of the Dead. +1 discarding card. Minus ability. -3, technically. Number of cards in my graveyard. An emblem beginning with combat. Every turn, we put a creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under control against haste. Never get to do that in Ultimate, but always discard. Everyone's favorite, you know her, you love her, Liliana the Veil. I have a signed one I got somewhere. Didn't actually get him to sign it, but it's signed by Steve Argyle. And I keep putting it in other decks, but I should just put it in this deck. This deck's going to be around for a while because it's just weird, fun, slow. So I can play with like a lower power but still be a nuisance. But do I really need to talk about what she does? Not really. Moving on. We got Liliana Vest. We won't talk about the art. Target player discards a card. Search your library for a card. Shuffle, put it on top. Pretty cool. Put all creature cards from all graveyards on the battlefield under your control. Pretty nice. And last, the Planeswalker, just Davriel, Rogue Shatter Mage. Begin each opponent's upkeep. If the player has one or fewer cards in hand, Davriel does 2 damage to them. I don't really do the minus ability, because I really have to. If I really want another bird to swing out, you can do it on your turn. They can't block anyway. But that static ability is why I like having them in there. Moving on to non-basics. Got my favorite land, War Room. I've been putting it into every monocolor deck I played, because if you're playing one color, this card is really good. 3 mana, technically 4 because you got to tap the land to just to draw a card. Yeah, you lose 1 life, but it's really good. I like it. Ash Barrens, basically in cycling. You know it. You love it. Barrymore, cycling. Gotta reach Sanitarium. Everybody draws, but then everyone discards. Thespian Stage. Always in there to kind of copy something else. Can't copy Gaia Reach or some of the other ones, but always think about cutting it. But I always keep it instead. What's wrong with me? Urborg, playing mono black. Why not give everyone swamps? Bajuka Bog, in case you need to take care of somebody else's graveyard. I want to put that new Bajuka Bog, the creature version. It has the flip. We got Desert of the Glorified. Comes in tapped. Cycling ability is where it's at. Castle Lochthwain. Pretty much the same as War Room, except you have to specifically pay black mana. Oh, number the cards in here, never mind. A little worse, but you're going to be discarding so much it's going to help you anyway. This kind of sucks when you draw and then lose a life. If it was before, that'd be a little better, but you're at least going to lose 1 life, right? Temple of the False God. You know my feelings about this card. It shows up. I'm not proud of it being in the decks, but there it is. Scavenger Grounds. Exile cards from a graveyard. Oh, all graveyards, sorry. I'll be honest, I never actually played this before, but it's in there to get rid of graveyards. Field of the Dead. One of those cards where, you know, it's pretty good. It's gonna get. I'm pretty sure it's gonna get banned at some point, but I like this card so much that I just had to put it in here. I don't think I've ever actually got to activate in this deck, so in hindsight, if there's a better land, I probably end up swapping it out. And Polluted Mire and Blasted Landscape, of course. Cycling. What can you do? And we'd be asking, this is different too. Dell playing all the same arts. I have a small collection of snow-covered swamps that I said, why not? Why not put some neat swamps into this deck? I don't really do that too often with my decks, you know, theme out the lands or put all the same land into it. But every once in a while I surprise myself too. But that's my deck. What do you guys think? Like I said, it's not the strongest deck. It can spiral out of control. I like playing at lower power level because it's lower power level, but usually I end up getting singled out because I'm making everyone else discard, which is not fun for anybody. But, you know, if you're not really doing your job, if you're making other people's lives miserable when you're playing Magic, because at the end of the day you're trying to win. I don't know. Anywho, I'm rambling now, so if you guys liked it, like, comment, subscribe, all that junk. Any recommendations? You guys play Raven Man as well. I don't like him as a character in the game, but discarding this kind of scratches that itch I have when I do want to play a mean-ish discard deck. So that's why I think it's going to stay around for a while, but I do want to do the jokey thumbnail sooner than later because, you know, that movie coming out we won't talk about. Anywho, till next time, love you.